So hi George, nice to see you. Welcome. Would
Thank
you
you.
would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is George DeLauder. I also identify as Cynthia Majors.
Okay. And could you tell me how the LGBT population relates to you?
I've been a transgender person since I was about 11. Um, I started as a cross-dresser, and when I was about 40, this is almost 30 years ago, I started going to therapy, and it came out during my therapy that I was leaning more towards transgendered or transsexual. Um, so right now, for the last 20 or so years, I've been identifying as a preoperative male to female transgendered person.
Awesome. Um, Thank you for taking the time and for having the courage to come on here and to talk so openly with me. So just want to make sure you understand that I recognize this is not an easy platform to do. I know it may be easy for you. I just want to make sure I said that to
It's not my first rodeo, let's put it that way.
you. All right. So how do you feel about the fact that there is no LGBT center in Bergen County? And do you think there's a need for one?
I do think there's a need for one. Not everybody can travel to 14th Street in New York on a regular basis. Anything on this side of the river would be a vast improvement, especially now with the way COVID's running. But there's always been a need. It's just, it seems to have been filled in New York City a lot faster than it was on this side of the river.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts on the fact that we don't have one? Do you think because what I'm trying to do here is discover why isn't there a center here? It seems like an obvious thing to me to have one. LGBT people have been around all along. So why do you think there just isn't any center here?
Um, I don't know. I think part of it is the whole suburb mentality that a lot of people just used to feel that that didn't happen here or not in my backyard type of thing. Um, you can tell by the number of gay clubs that are around, it's just not showing on the surface a lot. There may be a lot going on underneath. Matter of fact, I know there is a lot going on underneath, but um, it's just not mainstream. And it's never been mainstream on this side. I don't know why. Um, I think a lot of people in New Jersey that I know are trying to stay under the radar for whatever reason, personal or business or whatever. And they don't want to make waves and start making noise about we're not getting supported because they don't want people to know they're here. But that's I can't really speak for the lesbian and gay community. I can only speak for the trans community. Um, we have a higher profile because we stand out more. Um, it's very hard to hide when you're trans unless you're really, really good at it. And that's why so many people, I think, went stealth. And once they go stealth, they don't want those type of resources. They don't want to be identified with the trans community in any way, shape, or form because that'll blow their whole cover.
Mm-hmm. And
And
that
I think that's what's been going on here. It's just bedroom community type of thing.
and that's really interesting to me. The whole stealth and then moving away from getting resources and stuff and going to different communities. But if it's a part of, I don't want people to think, okay, well then that's a reason not to have a center, right? But
Right.
but I also want to highlight that if that's a part of the experience right now in the transgender community, you know, there are other counties where people are going stealth that can come, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, definitely.
So,
We have people that are going up to the one in New York, right over the state line. And I know that if there was something closer, they would come here.
yeah. And just so we're making it clear to everyone, stealth is what?
Stealth is going under the radar. Stealth is, say, for example, someone has transitioned fully from male to female, even if they're just living full time. They don't identify in any way, shape, or form as male. They may cut off all of their contacts that knew them as a male or as a female, depending on which way they're going. Um, they cut off all ties with the community because they don't want anybody to know that they have transitioned to a different gender. And to me, I've always felt that was just like a bigger closet, because sooner or later it's going to come out. If they have to go to the hospital, somebody's going to do a check. Oh, they don't have an extra rib, or they have an extra rib. Um, and I think, um, I think it's just postponing the inevitable, because sooner or later the shit's going to hit the fan, and somebody's going to find out. I heard stories of post-op male to female transsexuals who have gotten married, never told their spouse that they had transitioned, that they used to be a male, and then they got into a car accident or they had to go to the doctor, and something happened and they were exposed. And now they got maybe 10 years of marriage under their belt, living a lie to their spouse. And the spouse is obviously going to go, well, if you lied to me about this, what else did you lie to me about?
Mhm.
So it's just opening a whole nother can of worms. I don't like the entire concept of stealth, but I understand its purpose.
Yeah. And just for that example, having a resource center is good because it's a safety net for when people need a resource. So in your example, when someone is found out, when like everything comes falling down, that person's going to need resources potentially to or
Your audio is breaking up.
yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with it. um, so it's weird music thing going on here.
That's my wife's phone
Oh,
going off.
okay. Yeah, so
Okay, it's
what
done.
what I was saying is that when in the example of a stealth situation, when it breaks down, that person will need some kind of resources at that point. So
Yes.
having a resource center, even for the people that are in the stealth community, it would still be valuable to them because we need a safety net like any other citizen in the county. We need safety nets for when things fall apart.
Hmm.
Yeah. Right. So at this point, I leave a little time for you to ask any questions, or if you have anything else you feel that you want to bring up here, this is your platform. If you have, if you don't, that's fine.
Um, well, just a little background on, I don't pathways. I don't know if Vicky filled you in at all or not, but we were originally with another support group called uh, Trias. And Trias, we left Trias because Trias has a very strict code that they only accept heterosexual crossdressers. And we felt that we needed to be more inclusive. And that's why we split off into pathways. Um, we were not the only chapter of Trias that felt that way. I know at least three others that got blacklisted by Trias because they went rogue and started taking people in that didn't match the Trias uh, form, exactly what they wanted. And their reasoning was that, um, they wanted to be able to have spouses come out and not worry about having members hit on their spouses while they were dressed, um, which I never found to be a problem with Pathways or any of the other groups that I've dealt with. But the powers that be at Trias are set in their ways and probably will die out eventually because they refuse to change with the program.
Mhm.
And I was president of the Trias group that we were in, and then became president of Pathways until I stepped down. So I've been in out for, well, let's see, probably about 35 years. Um, I go to my high school reunions as Cynthia, and we're going to have our 50th. Well, it was supposed to be last year. That went sideways. Um, I've been on radio. I've been on in print several times. Um, I haven't made it to TV yet, but I've come close. Uh, I hopefully eventually I will, but I haven't made it there yet. But I I I don't look to be a spokesperson for the trans community, but I will do it when I see the need.
Awesome. Awesome.
And my wife has been, well, since day 3. Day 1 and 2 were kind of rocky, but day 3 on, or let's see, told her our 15th anniversary, well, around 15 years in, and we just crossed 34 years. So she's been extremely supportive in everything I do and has been there with me right on down the line.
Yeah. So I just want to say thank you for being a beacon in our community and for you living your life with your wife and as you do and how important and beautiful it is and special and needed to have you in our community. And thank you. Just you're appreciated and loved. And I just want to say thank you for that.
No,
Uh,
thank you.
I also want to make sure that you understand that this is going to be made public at some point and
No worries.
that you give consent to that.
Yes, I do.
And if you have any issues at any point, you can always contact me and I'll take it down. No questions asked, just given a bit of time to do so.
Understood.
And just want to make sure you feel comfortable with everything you spoke about. You feel it's, accurate how you spoke and everything for the intent of this video.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So thank you. We're done. I'm going to end up the video now.
Okay.